Welcome to Making Space For, the podcast where we embark on a journey to simplify, organize, and prioritize our lives. I'm your host, Paige Rabin, and each episode will explore the art of intentional living, helping you make room for what truly matters. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, it's easy to find ourselves surrounded by things that don't contribute to our happiness or well-being. Making Space For is your guide to decluttering not just your physical space, but also your mind and soul. We'll dive into practical tips on downsizing, right-sizing, and the transformative power of letting go. Whether you're starting a cluttered closet, pondering legacy planning, or seeking the elusive balance between work and self-care, this podcast is your sanctuary for inspiration and actionable insights. Join us as we feature experts, share personal stories, and explore the profound impact of intentional living. Together, we'll navigate the journey towards a simpler, more fulfilling life. One where you have more of what matters and less of what doesn't. So are you ready to make space for the life you've always wanted? Let's dive in. This is Making Space For. Well, before we dive into today's episode, a quick shout out to our flagship company, A Move Handled with Care. As Denver Metro's premier senior and specialty move management expert since 2007, we've mastered the art of downsizing, right-sizing, organizing, and every step in between. From packing and moving to unpacking and staging, our experienced staff represent all stages of life, offering a compassionate touch to what matters most to you. So, if you're looking to make a seamless transition while keeping what truly matters in focus, trust A Move Handled with Care. Visit us at amovehandledwithcare.com or on Facebook or LinkedIn to discover the difference. Let's continue making space for the life you deserve. Welcome to another episode of the Making Space For podcast, where we explore how to create room in our lives for what truly matters. I'm Paige Rabin, and today we're thrilled to have a special guest with us, Reid Husmer, the visionary behind Gone for Good. Reid's journey with Gone for Good started back in 2008 when he first conceived the business concept. Gone for Good is more than just a junk removal company. It's a movement towards a more sustainable future. With their motto, reduce, resell, and recycle, they're dedicated to keeping reusable items out of the landfill and recycling as much as possible, all while helping people declutter and free up space in their lives for what really matters. In today's episode, Reid will share the inspiring story behind Gone for Good, how they're making a difference in Denver and northern Colorado, and why sustainable practices and junk removal are more important now than ever. So whether you're looking to declutter your space or curious about eco-friendly solutions, this conversation is one you don't want to miss. This is Making Space For, Getting Rid of the Stuff.
Hi, I'm Reid Husmer, and here's a story of why I founded Gone for Good. One Saturday morning, I was eating breakfast and knew that I was going to have a rough weekend. It was time to do spring cleaning. After a nice breakfast, I had the courage to go down to that basement and see the monster that was slowly taking over my house. What a mess. My first thought, no problem. I'll order a roll-off and be done with this mess in one day. No, that's not right. I can't throw away my son's favorite car bed into the dumpster. Let's do this the right way and keep stuff out of the landfill. So I went to the computer and looked for a service that would take my stuff and keep it out of the landfill. It turns out there really wasn't a one-stop service. I realized I'd have to take my TV to one location, my donations would have to come out of the basement and onto the curb, and all the recycle items that I found, cardboard, metal, and stuff like that, would have to be dropped off at 2 different locations. What a hassle. This is going to take some time. And then boom, it popped into my head. People need this service. Nobody has the time or energy to go through all the steps needed to keep junk out of the landfill. So I created Gone for Good. And it would reflect my personal mission to reduce, resell, and recycle. Gone for Good would be good for people using the service, for the community, and for the environment.
Welcome, Reid. For those who don't know, this is our second time around. We tried to record this in our podcast studio, and it was so fun and wonderful. And then we had some technical difficulties, so we're doing it again. So,
That's my fault.
no, it was everyone's fault. And I will say a lot of things with podcasts is you have to learn along the way how to make all of it work. And so I appreciate your flexibility and coming and joining me again, talk about all things junk calling.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I guess we'll jump right in. We've had a lot of topics, before, and we'll have some after you. And one of the, I think we talked about this before, is that I've known you. You're probably like one of the very first professional partners that I met 7 years ago when I joined A Move Handled with Care as an eco-friendly junk hauler, gone for good. And just what this can do for people understanding junk hauling, different types of junk hauling, how you all are different. And so I just love for you to kind of introduce yourself as, as a human being, and then also too, a little bit about Gone for Good and what your mission is there.
Sure. Yeah. My name is Reid Husmer, president of Gone for Good. And we are an eco-friendly hauling company. And our mission is to keep it out of landfill. We have different junk hauling trucks. They're actually moving trucks. They're 16-foot box moving trucks. And so what we specialize in is estate cleanouts and kind of more than just a couch pickup or, some branches in the back. We focus on when people are downsizing and they're moving and they have a lot of stuff and they have a lot of trash and they have good stuff. It's all a mixture. And what we do is we have two people that come in with the truck and box it and bag it and haul it away. And what we do is we bring it back to a warehouse or a thrift store. Currently, I'm up at the Northern Colorado thrift store in Alt, Colorado, and that's where I'm doing this podcast today. But what we do is we sort it out. We work with several charities that we donate furniture, home decor, stuff like that, and we sell it at a low price to people that are in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Fantastic. So how did you get into this? What was, what made you as a person want to get into eco-friendly junk hauling?
Well, I wanted to get into the protecting the environment and getting into the kind of the green industry. And I had a weekend where I was just sitting there with a bunch of stuff in my house, my son's stuff, trash, stuff in the backyard. And I wanted to do better than just throw it in a roll off. That could have been the easy way out and get rid of it fast. But, I did some research, found out more about that there's a lot you can resell, a lot you can give away for free and keep it out of landfill and then take electronics to the right spot and, other stuff, mattresses and, there's a one-stop shop. What's Gone for Good started to grow to be was that you could take it out to the curb, you donate to charity. I mean, that takes a lot of time. And, today we don't have that much time and you got to find a service like us or others that it can be that one-stop service and get it all gone and you can go on with your life and do other things.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we love partnering with you, is because we provide, one-stop shop for all moving, downsizing, things like that. And people forget about the stuff that doesn't go, or when you're moving the piece of furniture that's not going to fit in the new home, or doesn't fit the decor, or they don't have now space for it. And what I think the misnomer is a lot with our customers is understanding that getting rid of things, people think that well, I'm just going to give it away. And it's a very difficult process. I mean, to your point, you brought up a couple of different things. There's a lot of things that are not donatable.
Right.
So what do we do with the stuff that's not donatable? A mattress, for example, is not something that you can donate to, like your local Goodwill or ARC. There's a lot of electronics that they won't accept, big and brown furniture, that takes up a lot of their showroom floor. So while people have this idea that they can just give stuff away or people are going to take it or, somebody's going to come pick it up, that's not necessarily the case. So we're always educating people that it's not free to get rid of your stuff.
Right.
But what we love about your service is that it's a one-stop shop. There's nothing you won't take. Except for, I mean, I guess a few things which make sense. So, chemicals and hazardous materials, but you guys just did a job for me up in Evergreen where they were struggling with, their trash removal because they're very remote. And so they even, took some of that for me to help with like their recycle bin that was completely filled that they're not going to have picked up again. All the way down to, their tools, to pieces of furniture, to random wood and boards that they had in their garage. And so it's just a one-stop shop for what you guys do. And so I love that. And also you talked a little bit about, partnering with local charities and things. Tell us a little bit more about that and how you maybe got in, what charities you work with and kind of how that process works.
So yes, as we become busy and we started to grow, we started working with charities on what do you need, and because we get so much, we get beds, and why not help someone out that's coming off the streets and they got a new apartment and their apartment's empty.
Mm-hmm.
We started setting up appointments with the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, the veterans, many many charities that work with clients that are starting fresh and they need stuff. So we've worked with them a lot. I mean, we get about in the Denver store about 2 or 3 a week that come in and
Wow.
start getting furniture and starting fresh.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's so great to know. And I think that's another piece that our customers always want to know, that it's going somewhere, that someone's going to use it.
Right.
Things that may have had a lot of memories and ties to their life are now being used in a different way. And I think that's what's also really, really great about it is our customers love that it's going to someone, to something, even if that is, somebody just buying it for their own home and your resale store, that at least somebody else is going to get the joy and the value out of that piece
Right.
that they
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we come across is we pick up items and we go, okay, what can we do with this? If we can't sell it, what can we do as far as recycling? Like we go all the way down to Project Cure that deals with old medical supplies. We deal with electronics, with the IT refresh. I mean, we have that on our website too. If there's like 1 or 2 items that you're trying to figure out, what to do best with them instead of throwing them away, is go to our website there at goneforgoodstore.com and look on the recycling page.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing, we spend a lot of time, your business and our business, of finding the people and the resources. So we've already done the legwork of where to take things. And we're always asking each other and others that we meet,
Right.
who do you using to do, kind of XYZ to help it get cleaned out? Because again, we don't want to leave our customers behind with something that they don't know what to do with, because that's, very frustrating. That's what we're here to do.
Right.
And also, you will come do it in a timely fashion. It's all done in one, like you said, one-stop shop. It's not done in multiple different trips. You don't have to, load things in your vehicle, take things out to the street, like you said,
Yeah.
or, take it down to your county recycling center, taking it to the dump. Especially if you don't have the bandwidth or the resources, if you don't have a truck, if you don't have the manual labor to be able to do that. Do you guys
Right.
still partner with Springback, Colorado?
We do. Yeah.
Okay.
Springback, Colorado does mattress recycling.
Okay. So that
That's
was
where
one
we
of the
take
things,
them.
like those are places we've learned of because of you all, is who
Right.
will take those mattresses. And so they take those apart, rebuild them, so that they can be resold and reused again, which, if you don't know that that's not a recyclable item, that's,
Right.
one thing to know. So
It's interesting if you ever get to a chance to see how they recycle. It's what's inside your mattresses is pretty crazy as far as springs and foam and all that stuff. And that's what they do down there is they kind of cut it up and they recycle the metal, they recycle the foam, they do as much as they can with it. And also, if they do get good mattresses, they do work with other charities and find a good home for it.
oh, that's great. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, until I was in this business, did I know what was donatable and not donatable, and not every donation center is the same. Like some
Right.
will take this, some won't take that, and so it's all the research that you do. I mean, how many times have I gone myself personally to a place and gotten turned away by, oh, we don't take particle board, oh, we don't
Right.
take desks, oh, we don't take this, and that's kind of what you're planning to do, and then what do you do with it? You guys have helped me in my own personal moves too. So kind of describe your process. So somebody calls Gone for Good, maybe they have a household full, maybe it's just a garage full, kind of what does that look like from start to finish when they call?
So from start to finish, they can either they can schedule online, kind of get an estimate online, or they can call one of the locations, Aurora, Broomfield, or Denver, or Northern Colorado, and we can give them an estimate over the phone if it's more than less a truckload, because we have our pricing up on our website, and go, okay, you have this and that, and we go, it's about a half truckload. If they have a full house and they'd like a firm quote, then we go out and do a free estimate and go over what we can do and certain levels that we have. With you, we work with the gold a lot because you team packs it up and it's already boxed and bagged, and so then we get it and haul it away. The platinum level is where we bring our equipment, our bags, boxes, and stuff like that, and just clear out the whole house. And so that's what happens is that we schedule a day, they get reminders, customers get reminders, we come out, get it all out, and then bring it back to the warehouse or thrift store and start sorting and keep it out of landfill.
Perfect. And yeah, you talked about a little bit about that too, that you bring your own, materials and things. But what I love about you all is that you also have the labor. I think there's a lot of
Yes.
people who don't understand that that's also a differential when you're looking at junk hauling is do they provide the labor to come into your home? Take the sectional apart, take the bed apart, your team will do that whole thing from start to finish. So I don't have to have my movers take the bed apart. Your guys will come in, take the bed apart, and then remove it.
Right.
And that's, when you call those free donation pickups, it's typically you have to disassemble it. You have to usually either get it to a garage or to, a stoop of some sort, so people can just like come pick it up. You
Yeah.
will provide the labor to come into the home and actually get it all, which is why, that's such a invaluable thing for us is that, we partner in that way because you'll physically come do it for the client.
Right. Yep. We've learned the tricks and trades on a lot of disassembling, especially those sleeper sofas.
Yeah.
It's not worth trying to get that out of the basement with it inside. Some of the younger
Right.
crew can do it, but not me anymore. I disassemble it.
Well, and it just even little things that you don't think about. I mean, your team came the other day on site when I was there, and I literally just, I mean, I've worked with them so much that I just said, okay, I want this TV off. I want this TV. I want this, and this. And they're mounted on the wall. I don't even think about it. Like your guys just
Right.
come in, they disassemble it, take it off of do you want us to take the mount, not the mount? And I'm like, oh, great question. So, I mean, they, are trying to be as thorough as possible, and things like that. So they're, I would say we've asked your team to do some weird things and they'll still, every time, no big deal. I had a floor that was covered in, like other flooring and they cut the flooring material up, took it out. They've done all kinds of like really good stuff for us that in those ways, I don't have to manage that. I know that your team's going to do it. And I know we've worked with them so much that they kind of know what our expectations are and we've got everything kind of usually neat and tidy and things for them. But that's what, I like is that it's not a tradition, some other junk haulers that we've used in the past. And you talked a little bit about, I mean, I think that's a little differentiator too, is that you guys use 16-foot box trucks versus some that you would see junk haulers that are those open top, almost like a dumpster on wheels.
Right.
And,
Right.
what's the benefit for you all using those box trucks?
Well, the benefit is that it's all protected. Working in Colorado, you're going to get some rain, you're going to get some snow, and especially during the wintertime, if you put in some nice furniture that could be resold at the thrift store or donated, it's great to have that box truck. And also with the box truck, you can pack, you can keep stacking
Yep.
high to the very top compared to the dump trucks where it starts going this way and then kind of
Yep.
falling out. But yeah, it's more of like, I guess we're called more of a junk movers, maybe, because we're
Yeah.
moving the stuff from one point to another.
Yeah. 100%. I would
But we
agree.
don't like to call it junk. It's stuff.
It's stuff that I don't want anymore, or you don't
That's
want
right.
anymore. Exactly. And I love too that your stores, following you on social media and seeing kind of what, your franchisees are doing in different areas. And I saw the Denver group, they took a chair and that probably, needed a new seat and they had people voting on the material to cover it with. So I love that you're really trying to repurpose something so that someone will want it. So maybe it was
Yeah.
stained or maybe it was old or maybe it was torn. And you'll kind of go that extra step to make sure that it can be rehomed.
Yeah. That's why I love the franchise model when we created it about 5 years ago is now that Denver is owned by two gentlemen, David and Buckley, is you just see new ideas of what to do and they're having fun with the Instagram account. And man, I really see a lot of people get involved about, what fabric to put on the chairs. And they made that store a lot fun
Mhm.
and people get involved and yeah, it's fun to see that as far as people get involved in the thrift store and reuse it, repurposing, I guess
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to say here.
And I will say, there's a trend right now, especially in kind of the younger generation that's coming up of thrifting and
Right.
repurposing and taking old things and making them, kind of trendy and new, which is also great because there is a huge inventory of stuff like that needs to be rehomed.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, when we work with our seniors and things, like some of the stuff they have in their home is just beautiful. They just don't maybe have room for it, or a family member doesn't want it. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, needs a new home. And that's kind of neat that we can kind of see that, bridge that gap a little bit with folks who are, or young people who are just starting out, who, want something to look, nice, but can't afford, and they don't want, cheap stuff. And
Right.
so they go get, like, good quality furniture from you all, and things. I know I one time asked you, I said, could I come shop for parts? You were like, yeah, come shop for parts, because we have these cool, unique, one of a kind lamps, or one of a kind this or that. And every now and again, you'll get, like, the piece of the piece. And so we've talked about that in the past, of, like, shopping you for parts. Because you just never know what you guys stumble into.
Right. Yeah, it's different every week there. You never know
Yeah.
what's coming in.
What's one of the most entertaining, or bizarre, or memorable jobs that you've ever been on, or something that you got or you took away that was, like, kind of different?
I would say our number one that I always tell people is that we were doing a house in Denver and clearing out, and it was a large house. And as you're packing and stuff, it can go quick, and you're just kind of getting it out, going, and then it comes back to the warehouse, and stuff's in boxes, and sometimes it can be thrown away because it looks like trash. But one gentleman, Mark, actually looked at this one box, opened it up, and then found this, like, kind of costume with some small shoes, and it looked really kind of bizarre. But we investigated more and even looked at the tag. From the tag, it said "Designed for Prince." So we're like, no way. Yeah. And we investigated it, and it actually was for Prince.
Wow, like a costume of his?
Like, they designed it, and I don't know how this gentleman had it, but it had it in the box and the shoes and everything for Prince. And we put it up on eBay, and
I'll
that
bet you did.
yeah, it sold for $12,000.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
and
That
that
is a
was
cool story.
during our slow time of the season. So praise God that was during that came in. That was great.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen it all, like the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, we've done some jobs together that are good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think that's the other thing
Yeah.
too, is we do the stuff that, like, sometimes families, can't physically get to. I mean, we've crawled in crawl spaces and pulled stuff out, and being able to provide that service for people, when they either physically can't, or emotionally can't, or whatever the case may be. We've kind of done the good, bad, and the ugly. But I can't say that we've ever had anything as cool as finding a costume designed for Prince. That would be really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it
That'd be
was
really cool.
cool. Yeah, and there was another time that it was a trash bag, and Rhonda, that was working for us at the time, actually dug through the trash. I'm like, "What are you doing, Rhonda? That's just trash." She dug deeper, and it was $600 worth of coins
Oh, wow. Like
in the
collector's
trash
coins,
bag.
or just coins in general, like pennies, nickels, dimes?
Both. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. Because that's when, again, you find people that work with coins, or people that are smart with eBay. You start learning a lot. I'm still learning today. 16 years later, I'm still learning.
Yeah. So you have several different locations. Is there
Yes.
goals to keep going in Colorado? Like, is this something that you want to, build beyond kind of where you are, or?
Yes, and that's why I finally went with the franchise model. It's because you actually need business owners that are into this type of industry, and
Mhm.
we want to continue in Colorado. We want to hit Colorado Springs, down in that area, because that area is growing, one, and that area also, people are moving in and out too. So it
Mhm.
it helps to have that thrift store for people that are moving in and knowing that they're going to be moving out right away, and also to have that hauling side to get their houses cleaned out. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're looking to expand. We're looking to grow. So anybody watching this that wants to get into this industry, contact me.
So where do you find people? Like, who is really interested? People ask us that all the time. Like, how do you find people who are into downsizing and packing and things like that? Where do you find people that are into this? Are they collectors? Are they What kind of their background, or maybe there's no rhyme or reason. I don't know.
You know, that's a great question because during our busy times, it's hard to find the right fit for this industry. It's a lot of work. So on the hauling side, we look for movers,
Hmm.
the ones that are used to it, the ones that are in good shape. If you're a collector and we're going to put you on the hauling side, you'll be done in a week. So with those movers, we say just pack and be careful with it. You don't need to be an expert out there on the field. Just bring it back, and we'll decide what's good and what's not good.
Hmm.
As far as people in the store is more of people that have been in the selling of either thrift or estate sales and stuff like that have knowledge. They'll go, oh, that's good. You need to sell that type of people, and they're into it. Um, Doing both can be overwhelming.
Hmm.
As been on that side, and that actually, a couple other people that I've known that have do both. It can be overwhelming because you're doing the hauling side, and all of a sudden you get all that stuff, and now you got to go through it and try to figure out what can be
Yeah, the diamond in
put
the
in
rough.
landfill. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
we used to work, different times, different projects and things like that, where you've worked with estate liquidators in the past.
right,
There's a lot of misnomer around estate liquidation. I mean, we could probably have a whole podcast on estate liquidation. I'm sure there are many.
right,
But I think
right,
one of the biggest misnomers where you and I get involved is having people understand what their stuff is worth. And sometimes the disappointing news that their things are not necessarily worth what they, number one, what they paid for them, and
right,
number two, maybe the sentimental value that's behind it, or um and they're flabbergasted that it's going to cost them money to have somebody take it away. But we've had practice in that way. And so, just in your experience when you've worked with people or estate liquidators, when, like, what are kind of maybe your tips or tricks on, like, when is it just a clean out, like when we call you, or when is
hmm
it more than just a clean out? And there are just, if there's just a few things versus a whole house that you could, do an estate sale. What are some things in your line that kind of see as like the make or break for a sale or no sale?
That's a good question. A lot of times, if you call around estate sale companies, they have a certain limit, whether it be
Mm,
like 7,000 or 10,000. It has to be kind of a big collection of art and jewelry and antiques. Even though antiques aren't really big resellers these days, some still might be. We all know the mid-century modern; those are huge estate sales, and there's a lot of stuff that can look like could be sold on eBay that they've been collecting for a long time. But if you just have you know, kind of your household stuff and others, it really can't have an estate sale or garage sale. It's what is your time worth at that point?
yep.
I always say, grab the jewelry, get your family and friends, see what they want out of the house, but the other, it's just more of a headache trying to sell it.
Hmm.
You're going to do marketplace on your own. You're dealing with people coming to your house, and then the scams that go on out there. Let the professionals deal with that.
Yeah.
Honest. I mean, it's so much easier. You're walking out the door and everything is gone compared to trying to sell every little thing that you have.
Right, because so many of your jobs in those, the projects that we've done like that, where the state, like, a state liquidator is involved, and you still come at the end and you still
Right.
come and get what's left, because not even estate liquidators can sell it all.
Right.
And so there is just always that piece too, that, talking with your estate liquidator, making sure that you understand what's going to happen with it when it's, with what won't sell at the end of the day. Does it go, does it go to junk? Does it go to the landfill? Is it going in a roll off? What does that look like? And that's why, you know, we've worked with you all, because again, just trying to keep stuff out of the landfill and get it reused,
Yeah.
rehomed and things like that. It's super important. I heard some statistic about how Colorado, I believe it, about how we're so behind in the recycling, which doesn't really make sense with like our eco-friendly, idea or vibe of Colorado. But I'd be curious to do some more research, maybe, like where we sit, but I forget it's like pretty low in the 50 states as far as recycling goes. And so it's cheaper to throw things away in the state of Colorado than it is to recycle them. And
That's
that's, I
sad.
mean, yeah, it's
That
very
is.
sad. And I think the other thing is encouraging people to use services like yours versus your traditional junk haulers that are going to just take it to the dump. where, understanding and kind of being a little bit mindful of where your stuff is headed.
Right, right. No, and you do see that. You don't see a lot of restrictions or laws on recycling. There's a little bit going on, I see in Boulder, as far as where, they're doing some fix and flips and stuff like that. They require that there's a certain amount needs to be recycled. I
Love
don't
that.
see that in other, yeah, I love that too. I do see it coming down the road. It's not anytime soon, but it needs to, the trucks need to stop going to the landfill and then to the next house, going to the landfill and the next house. I hope Gone for Good is ahead of that game, and that we can be ready for that and show reports of how much we do recycle
Mm-hmm.
for maybe laws down the road, because Colorado is behind. Even if I'll tell you this, anyone that's listening, try to go find a place to drop off cardboard. You just move
Yeah.
in and you have a bunch of cardboard. Try to find a place to go recycle it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't find
and
it.
we try very hard to reuse in our business, cardboard, but also to use reusable materials in general.
Yeah.
So we use reusable totes and things like that for our customers. Not only is that a cost savings, but it's just eco-friendly. So yeah, figuring that part out. But just nationwide right now, corrugated cardboard is up 6% across the nation. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, just we're throwing it away, and then the demand and the pricing and everything, it just keeps going and going and going, and the carbon footprint
Yeah.
of delivery and all of those type of things. So sometimes hiring the service to have it done for you actually reduces your carbon footprint and also helps, again, all your recycling stuff. What can you do yourself? So it's kind of the pros and cons of getting someone else involved in the
Yeah.
process. Yeah. Well, so the title of our podcast is called "The Making Space For." Obviously, you create a lot of space when you leave a
Clear
home.
it out.
But I guess the question I have for you is, I mean, let's say we're not moving. I mean, we can use your service when we're not moving. So how does just getting rid of the things you don't need, maybe you're an experience or just your opinion, but how does that help people create space for what really does matter for them?
They're not worried about that stuff anymore. It can be either that garage or that basement, and you continue to worry about it, and that's clutter in your mind. And once you have
Mm,
clutter in your mind, you're stressing about it. And what do you continue like? Oh, I'm going to resell that. Oh, I'm going to do this with it. And so it still stays there, and it still stays on your mind, and you start stressing about it. So once it's gone, now you can think about something else. So it's actually just less stress, space to do more things, and move on to better things and then clutter.
agreed. And I do, yeah. I mean, I think that's the other thing is I've used personally used Gone for Good, and it has been most more than not moving times. I've used you just, my kids have grown out of their beds. We got a new sofa, whatever it is, it's been like things like that. That, you guys have helped me clean out. And I think that's the other thing too, is like, there's other opportunities to use a junk hauler or, um, to get rid of the stuff that you don't need that you can rehome for sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, what else can we talk about? What's the future for Gone for Good, and how do you see this evolving?
The future for Gone for Good is expanding, and continue on to find better ways to recycle, better ways to resell. We keep on looking at technology when stuff comes in. How do we get it up online? And how do we get people to, more involved on shopping and are reusing stuff out there, because that's the hardest part of our mission, is when it comes off that truck, because we can haul it out every day, but we start getting overfilled in our stores and warehouses, that becomes a problem. So now we got to start researching. All right, it comes in, let's get it up online, get it out the door. And we already have low prices. We just got to find more people that want the stuff that's coming off the trucks. So
Okay.
that's the future of Gone for Good. And just continue to have good relationships with like people like yourself, a move handled with care.
So we're
And
letting you pave the way. You're going northern Colorado before we do, and then we'll
yeah,
follow you up there.
there's a lot of people up here and a lot of
Yes.
stuff.
There is. And, you start getting the upper, in northern Colorado, it's just as close to Wyoming. There's,
Mm-hmm.
people that in southern Wyoming need help and things like that. We talk about it all the time. And then going down to Colorado Springs as well. It's a huge growth corridor for us in Colorado, is those kind of Fort Collins and Colorado Springs areas. So we'll let you pave the way, and then we'll come ride your coattails.
That sounds good. Sounds
I
good.
love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today about what that looks like. And I think other different ways to do it and to, in my opinion, do it better. We appreciate your partnership. We think that working with you all helps us look good. We hope we make you look good as well. But again, just the kind of that one-stop shop of really, like you said, freeing people's minds of the clutter, the actual physical clutter allows them to have a room in their minds for other things that really matter most.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Thanks for coming.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That wraps up another inspiring episode of the Making Space For podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible guests and to you, our cherished listeners. Your journey to intentional living begins with each small step, and we're honored to be a part of it. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please consider liking, subscribing, and rating our podcast on your favorite platform. Before we part ways, a friendly reminder, if you're embarking on a move or seeking expert guidance in downsizing, remember A Move Handled with Care in Denver. With over 15 years of experience in senior and specialty move management, we're here to transform your transition into a seamless, stress-free experience. Visit amovehandledwithcare.com for more information, and let's continue making space for the life you've always wanted. Until next time, stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep making space for what matters most.